Good morning. Morning for me. And welcome to another session, Solving Tactics on ChessTempo.com. These tactics are mixed, which means we get defensive problems as well as problems that win material. And it's between 1700 and 1800. Standard rating. If the knight moves away, queen h4, queen d8 is perpetual. So if knight takes, threatening queen check, queen mate, there's so knight takes, queen h4 check. If king g7, queen check, king f8, queen d8 is perpetual. So I need to find some way to perhaps give mates or take here with check. So knight check. Queen check seems pretty stupid. But maybe knight check, rook takes, and then queen h1 check. Knight check, if king e1, there's queen d check, which looks very promising. King would have to go to d1. Then I can play queen check, king e1, queen check, king f1, queen f2 mates. So knight check, rook would need to take. And so after rook takes, I have after rook takes, I have queen h1 check. The rook must go back to g1. Then I would have queen takes h3 check, king e, and then it's the same as the other line, queen check. If king f, queen is mates. If king d, queen c1 is mates. If knight e2, queen takes e2 mates. So knight check, rook takes forced. Knight check, king here, queen check, king d, queen check, king e, queen check, king f, queen is mates. Or queen c1 mate directly. I like that problem. Very nice, very nice. Mistakes made here. Knight e3 check. Knight e3 check isn't as effective because now you don't have the e3 square for your queen and there's no way for the queen to enter. And if you try this, this does cover queen h4 mate, or queen h4 perpetual, but it doesn't cover queen takes f7 check. However, there are many alternate moves. Many. Rook takes b2 is given as an alternate because, well, why? Because if knight, so the knight can't take because of queen check, and the queen doesn't have the h4 square still. But that seems a little bit drawn out. I'd like to play h4 check here. Maybe combined with rook f3 somehow. Rook f3, queen takes f3. h4 check. Rook takes g4 doesn't seem to do much. Rook takes g4, pawn takes g4, h4 check, king g6. The g6 square is always a problem. h4 check immediately. I mean, the king could actually take, couldn't he? He could just take that. h4 check, king takes h4. I'm not actually threatening anything. Queen check, king g5. Well, wait. Then I would have queen h5 mate. So wait, check, king takes, queen check, king g5, queen h5 mates. So h4 check, king g6. Rook g4 check, rook takes h7. Doesn't seem to lead anywhere good. If I could somehow force the king to take on h4, that would be nice. Huh. Wait, queen h3. Queen h3. Wow. Okay, so queen h3. Not worrying about h4 check, but just queen h3 getting at the h5 pawn. If rook takes, queen takes his mates. If queen g6, if queen g6 covering the h5 square, queen h3, queen g6, rook check, pawn takes, queen h4 mate. If queen, alright, wait, so it goes queen h3, queen g6, rook g6 check, or rook g4 check. If pawn takes, then queen h4 mates. So the pawn can't take. The king needs to go queen h3, queen g6, rook check. The king needs to go to f6, and then I pick up this rook with check. And then I win the queen. Or I can take the queen with check and then pick up the rook. But then he would pick up my rook on h7. Okay, this is another way to play it. But I can just take that. So rook takes, or king takes. And that's fine for me. And then I just go away with the queen. Threatening to take, threatening to take. Good one. Vishy Topalov. Nice one. Really like that one. Mistakes made, h4. Yeah, h4 check. I spent a while trying to figure out h4 check, but it doesn't work. Knight revealed check, king h3, queen check, king takes, and then h5 mate. But then he would have the f3 square. So maybe a quiet move like queen g2. He would have queen check. No, then I'm the one getting mated. He'd have queen check, king h6, and then bishop f8 mate. It could still be this. For example, knight check, king h3. Queen check, king takes. Wait, what about knight check, king h3, and then queen f3 check? This way I'm covering the... Yes, there we go. That's how you get it to work. Knight check, king h3, queen check. It's all the same. It's all the same. Like the squares are still the same being covered. The knight covers the h2 square. The queen covers the h3 square. The queen covers the f3 square. But now the king doesn't get to run away to f3. So knight check, queen f1 check, and then h5 mate. That was a good one. I think I'm getting better at starting at looking at those alternative checks, especially after the session from yesterday. The session yesterday was really not my proudest moment. Sorry I'm not going very slow. After rook h6, what other checks does he have? Or rook f6. Rook f6 feels like the move. I'm threatening rook f1 check. He needs to cover. Where? How? The queen has no square. This feels like a very bad check by my opponent. Very bad check. Because I don't see how he can't stop the loss of material now. So rook f6. No checks here. No check. He takes check, knight takes, whatever. Queen doesn't have a6 to cover the bishop. The queen doesn't have d3 to cover. I'm threatening queen takes f1 or rook takes f1 mate. So rook f6, knight h4 check, pawn takes h4. Knight f4 check, pawn takes f4, and now he's covering. But no, because now the bishop is, now he's opened my bishop against f1. So yeah, after rook f6, I don't see a defense. Now, are we going to take with the knight or are we going to take with the queen? For some reason, that matters. For some reason, it matters if I take with the knight or if I take with the king. Okay, if I take with the king, then he won't have knight g4 and knight f4 checks. If I take with the knights, I'm not really doing much at all, am I? Because my knight wants to go to e3. So I think that king takes is best here. I mean, to be honest, it's a little bit shitty that this is even a problem. It's so inappropriate to have this as a problem. And I have to worry that I'm going to fail for being a queen up, you know? Oh, he has a pawn here. I didn't even notice. I didn't notice that he had a pawn there. That's why it's a problem. That's why this is a tactic. Okay, now I understand. Okay, so this is equality all of a sudden. Okay, so the only good check here is queen takes f, or the only check really is queen takes f1 check. Wow, this problem just became way more interesting. Yeah, I didn't I did see the pawn, but for some reason I didn't think of it queening. I was just thinking of it as like my own pawn. I saw the queen had a like the queen could go to a6, so I definitely did see the pawn, but I didn't for some reason promotion didn't cross my mind there. So if queen takes f1, king takes f1, knight e3 check. Feels like a perpetual. How do you continue the attack from here? What about smothered mate? What about smothered mate? Can I smothered mate in this position? Queen b6 check, king h1. Knight h1 check, king g1. Knight d1, it's not double check. So knight d1 check. And, and now what? I can't get my knight to the... Wait, I can take with the bishop though, can't I? I can take with the bishop to evacuate the square. And if king goes to h, so queen check, king h1, knight check. Or do I take with the bishop first? So queen check, king h1, bishop check. Now if bishop takes, it's not smothered mate. Damn. Yes, it is. It's not smothered mate, but it's just a regular mate because the queen goes to g1 with mate. So if bishop takes, I can mate. But if king takes, queen check, king h3, queen takes h2 check, king here. And I'm not not finishing. But I do think queen b6 is the answer. Queen b6, king h1. Now, obviously I can perpetual, but that's not satisfying. Can I maybe just play queen f1 and run him out of checks? Or queen f2, so queen check, king h1. Queen f2. Queen a6 check, king f. Queen c check. King h6, queen check, king h5. Queen e8 check. Wait, yeah. So he does have a perpetual. I believe. So, queen b6, king h1, knight check. I think taking is the key line there. Queen check, king here, check, takes here. If bishop takes, then I have knight check, king g1, knight check, king h1, queen g1 mates. So if king takes, I have queen check, king h3. Ah, queen takes f1, king takes, and then queen check here, mates. Then queen h3, checkmate. Nice. Nice, very nice. Very, very, very nice. That one was a really good. What is that? It's mate in 8. It's an mate in 8. Wow. So a defensive move combined with promotion. If I had seen like a8 queens in this position, this would have been a much more interesting problem from the beginning and a much better exercise for me. But unfortunately, I did not. Let's go back to the top. I just want to give a little picture of that. Because I really, really liked this problem. It's beautiful. All right, shall we do one more? All right, so if I give up this pawn, I can get a wrong colored bishop endgame. So I can play bishop g7, king takes, bishop takes, and he can't stop me from winning the a6 and b6 pawns. There's no way I'm winning this, so I'm going to go for that. Bishop g7, king takes g4, bishop takes h6, bishop takes h6, king b6. And I'm just going to eat both of these, and there's nothing he can do about it. Now bishop g4, another defense would be bishop d2. Bishop takes check, king takes. king b6, bishop takes b4, king takes a6, and again he can't protect the b pawn. The line goes king takes, bishop takes, king b6, and king a6, king b5 is unstoppable. Wait, I already said last problem, didn't I? Alright, so bishop g8 is the move I would like to play in this position. There's also knight check, which should definitely be considered. Knight f6 check, g takes f is forced. Then I have queen f check, king h8 is forced, queen takes f, king h7 is forced. Knight check, pawn, queen check, king h, queen f check, king h. Ooh, wait, it's the wrong, I'm giving the wrong check. It's a simple mate in two. Knight g5, not at knight f6. Knight g5 check, pawn takes, queen check is mate. Knight g5 check, h takes is forced, and then queen h is mate. That's a, ooh man, that's a mate in two, and it's rated 1792. It's rated almost 1800. Just a simple mate in two, but it's pretty difficult to see, isn't it? Especially, so the reason why it's so difficult to see is because knight f6 is such a much more clear move. Like, people are much more attracted to the f6 square than they are to the g5 square. And also it seems to get a lot of play, like knight f6 gets a lot of play. But I think it's just perpetual. Knight f6, pawn takes, queen check, king h, queen takes f. And you can see how people play this because it looks like it gets so much play. And they're going to pick up the rook, yeah. Nice. Nice. So good. Yeah, that was a very enjoyable one to finish it off on. Just a nice, beautiful mate in two. Really beautiful. All right. That's it for this session. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a really, there were some really good problems here that definitely deserved a lot of attention. They were really, really beautiful to watch and play. So take care of yourselves and good luck with your chess journey, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.